Stand by, everybody. Technical difficulties. They're here, but they need to refresh their screen so they can come in and chat with all of us. We'll be right back. All right, let's shrink me down. And we'll stand by. How was everybody's celebrations? Let's check out the chat real quick. We got 5 in the chat. Brian from Future Asa says, needs more thumbs. Lee Moon says, hi, Brian. I just added my thumb up. Brian does the best. Purple Side. Black Forever says we're late. Happy New Year 2025. Hello, Todd Halter. And Happy New Year to Lee Moon. And my mouse is backwards. Let me unbackwards the mouse while I wait for them to show up. Hitting the refresh. And come on. Uh-oh, that's Mark. Let's check him out. Messages. Refreshing multiple times, not joining. Let me send them a fresh invite to just this one room, and that should do the trick. Add guest. Copy link. Paste that. Sorry, guys. Like I said, technical difficulties. It's New Year's Day. We cut it down to the wire. Usually I push us into this room before we get even close to this time. And of course, the computer decided to not participate with any of us. Let me make sure I send it to email so Patrick gets it. And apply all. And paste. There we go. And let me make sure it says permanent link. It should be the same one that we always have. Lee Moon says it's all good. I appreciate it because we try not to have too many technical difficulties around here, but this one makes us look like amateurs. Not us, but like the computer. Come on, dude. Celebrations, like watching the Jones Raiders of the Ark. There we go. We got Patrick in the house. Change the view again. There we go. Good Happy New Year. Good to see you.
Hello.
Yes. Practical difficulties.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's different between the first link and this one, but the other one just stalled. It just said joining spun on the black screen forever.
Weird. This one goes just to this one room.
Right,
so
and that worked fine.
Yeah, I think that allows it to focus a little bit. Celebrations like watching Indiana Jones, Raiders of the Lost Ark. Yes. To a drone show. There you go. No UFOs. Was it one of the cool like coordinated drone shows? Those are freaking awesome. And hopefully, if it wasn't from that group that got in trouble with the FAA for failing to keep them in the sky. Pretty okay, but we ruined seeing the insane ones in places like China and New York on YouTube. Oh man, those Chinese ones were like, whoa.
But
there we go.
It was cool how it did the countdown in the sky.
Nice.
Yeah. I did see one here in the Beaverton area at 4th of July, which was really cool. They had them flying around in formations. They had a big eagle on a flag and all kinds of cool stuff.
Awesome. Lee Moon tells us that we're not the only ones. YouTube was like it earlier today. And the drone show was coordinated. Awesome. Outline of Oregon and put a heart over Portland. Uh-oh. Yeah. That's my place. All right.
Oh, we're live recording. Okay.
Yeah, let's start the show, Mark.
All right.
You're on the Tesla Life, if you didn't know it,
Mark. Welcome, everyone, for 392, the first of 2025. January, we have made it. And, there's cause for celebration. We made it through 2024. So here we go for another year. Welcome all to the show. With us, as always, we have Mr. Case Green joining us from New Year's Eve Control Center, as you can see. And, of course, we have Mr. Patrick Connor joining us from the West Coast. How are you today, sir?
Hello, Tesla Lifers. I'm doing great. Happy New Year.
Very good, very good. So, yeah, we got a bunch of stories. Nothing surprising there. And I
Anders
believe
must
that
never sleep.
that's right.
Watching us from Stockholm.
I believe that Casey would know really a lot about this first story because he is the tower in the crowd. So, what's going on, Casey, with these profiles that were mentioned?
So we've got 20 profiles that they're allowing us to have in the towing mode now. So when you got your car hooked up to the latest version of the update for your, you can profile your trailer very much like we talked about with the F-150 Lightning, where except it doesn't like weigh your trailer and get a profile of it, but it'll track the miles, so you can keep your maintenance under control, like bearings, brakes, tires, because trailers don't have odometers.
That's right.
And you tell it whether it's an open top or closed top trailer and which one it is. And the open top or closed top will be or enclosed or open is just so that it can sort of do a little bit better with the estimation on the mileage. This is coming from Green the Only, our favorite Tesla hacker. But it's also been profiled in some of the people's release notes. And he's saying that it should be better. They've got vision, right? Tesla Vision. And other folks have said, well, Tesla Vision, yes, but if we start putting stuff in that's labeling it, right? So maybe in the future we'll say, oh, that's your trailer number 7. You ready to go? And then we'll see how it goes.
The cool thing about this is we talked about this. Well, I can say last year, even if it was a week ago. Right. Of Tesla's been doing a lot of things to improve their mileage estimations and energy use approximation. They're looking at weather, they're looking at inclination, they're looking at how other drivers have done in that area. They even know how worn your tires are and can make adjustments based on that. And so now, if you're towing something, that's a huge factor, way bigger than a lot of the other things that I just mentioned. So of course they have to be aware of that. And then if you actually have these trailer profiles, it's different if you're hauling a small trailer versus the huge one that you bought, Casey, that you were using for a while. I mean, there's all kinds of different trailers, and they're all going to have different air resistance, aero drag, and weight factors. So now they can actually get smarter about that. And when you say, oh, it's profile 1, the first time they're collecting data, then the next time you drive with that, they know how it did last time, and they're going to be much more accurate with how far you're going to be able to drive, where you need to supercharge, all those kinds of things as they collect more data. And now it can be specific, because if you have a couple of different trailers and one is light and small and aero and the other's exactly the opposite, they're going to be very different. And you don't want to just average that, right? You want to know which one is which and collect data. So yeah, this is smart, and we predicted it. That's cool.
Yes. And then the other cool thing with that is, as they learn, they also can not just tell you, hey, this is a trailer okay spot. They can say this will fit your trailer comfortably. Will be a plus.
And as we had mentioned about determining when you have the trailer, if you have to pick the profile from the list, then that's going to indicate to the car that you're pulling a trailer. So the supercharger spots could be mandated to look for pull-throughs first, because you've already indicated you're towing the trailer. Therefore, the mileages will be updated to that, and the search for superchargers should also look for something that is trailer friendly.
Definitely, yeah, because they automatically put you in trailer mode when they see the lights get hooked up. And then at that point, that's when Green says it'll ask you which trailer. Obviously, if it's your first one, then you'll have to set it up the first time. But he thought it was a little too much hand input. But like I said, there's 20 of them. So unless you are running a business with the Tesla towing, it shouldn't be too bad.
Well, I would think that if you're pulling a trailer anyways, you're far more likely to have more than a single trailer that you move. So having multiple profiles does make sense. I don't know if 20 makes sense for the common person, but I would say if you are a business, I could see 20 trailers being part of it. Depending on your business size, obviously, but just having a few, obviously, if the memory to store 2 trailers is the same as 20, basically, then why wouldn't they just max?
That's what I was about to say. Is like they probably had like 3 in there, and somebody's like 3 is not enough, and then they made it enough for 1 more, and it was enough for 20. So why not? keep
Why
20 in
not?
there.
Yeah, why not go to 20? And then you could even have a different profile for the same trailer, empty versus full,
That's true.
or in between,
Or
because
different
they're going to
modes.
have,
Yeah.
it'll have a different impact. I wonder if they're even getting smart enough where, like, depending on how much it takes to get that weight moving, if they can figure out how loaded the trailer is from an
I think
acceleration
that's what they need to
perspective.
do that, because Ford does it.
Yeah,
and not everybody,
exactly.
but a lot of others do it as well. Yeah. So I think that would be really cool to see them advance that, and 20 still sounds like a lot, but again, don't forget Cybertruck. It was sold as a work truck as part of their marketing. So it's a good start, because I feel some people say 20 is not enough, but
20 is fine. And even if you only use one, why not have 20?
Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see after this. Like, this has not actually rolled out to anybody yet, right? This is Greeny only looking at
Greeny only saw it in a particular version, and some people have got that version, and they said, "Oh, I didn't see it when I went into trailer mode." And he said, "Did you plug the lights in?" So I haven't seen anybody report they plugged the lights in with that version.
Okay.
On a new vehicle. The one I saw that said he did do something was on Legacy, and we're not sure that he had the exact same version that Green was looking at. Plus, it's Legacy.
Right. And there can be changes between the older and the newer versions of the car. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
For sure. Like one of our stories. Yeah.
Exactly. So that's going to be interesting. If you out there have come across this yet, please send us a couple screenshots. They'd like to see what it looks like to the driver once they get it up and running, and you can see it as in your list of options. It'll be interesting to see.
I'm wondering if so we took a trip in Eastern Oregon. We had our bikes on the back, and it did cause some difference in efficiency. Yes. So I wonder, even though I'm not literally towing anything, I just have a bike rack on. I wonder if I could have a mode for that, so that
there is.
It would, yeah.
If your bike rack has lights, though.
It does not. No, it's just the standard Tesla bike rack. But there's no reason I couldn't buy a little light. Yeah, it would be nice, just because it does have some aero drag. It does change the efficiency, so why not allow me to use that as one of my 20?
Exactly.
Loaded with bikes.
So the mode I'm talking about is accessory mode. Basically, you put whatever it is back there, bike rack, rascal scooter, shelf, and if it's got lights, you plug it in, and then the car's like, "I'm towing something," and you're like, "No, you're not." And then they'll just go into like a yellow icon instead of a blue icon, and that one will still allow you to do all of your FSD and auto steer. Whereas regular tow mode only allows you to do traffic aware cruise control. For safety, but at this point, I think navigate on autopilot should be allowed. There's not really any highways legal where you could end up with a jackknife situation. I get not doing full FSD off the highway. That's a whole different animal. But as long as you don't have a odd load, you should be able to check a button and say, "I've loaded properly, and I understand the risks. Let's do navigate on autopilot." But that's
except that includes lane changes, right? And they don't have cameras at the back of the trailer, so that might be why they don't want to do that.
Yeah, I guess if you're towing something wider than the car, but then they could just do auto steer and say, "Hey, just give you your blue lines. Like, this is all you get. We're going to keep you in the lane. We're going to keep you from running something over."
And of course, as trailers start to be incorporated into Tesla's mix a lot more often, I can see third parties or Tesla stepping up and maybe creating that trailer cam that you can magnetically attach to the back of the trailer, and through Bluetooth or something, feed that to the car.
I think that would be a fair trade-off. Like, hey, we will give you back FSD if you buy this $2,000 kit and hook it up to each of your trailers. Hopefully removable, so you don't need 20 of them.
Yeah, exactly.
Sure, and you might have to drive 50 miles for it to calibrate or something.
That's fine too.
Yep.
Because it is such a drag to go back from FSD to having to do everything by hand. And then if you forget to put it in the mode and you don't have a towing profile, you can't cruise control because FSD autopilot is one pull. And so you got to pull over and stop, and then they could do better. Room for improvement. Right there. And this is an opportunity now. They've got a whole mode for it. There's a way to make it not just, it could be better. Like, this could be like specialized, and that's awesome.
Very good, very good. So let's move on. There's a lot of
Yes.
lot of stories today, and this one is not a surprise. We've started to see this already. This is about Giga Texas and the I guess you could call it the Cybertunnel now officially.
Yeah, literally.
Because what
Got a
we've
picture?
got here is this is of course a Tesla-Roddy article, and it is showing us the new exit point for the tunnel where the Cybertrucks, after being made in the factory, will be transported through and pop out over on the delivery lot side. And of course, it is starting to look a lot like the exterior of a Cybertruck.
It needs the katana blade. I was
So
curious
that-
because like there were so many ways they could have gone with this with somebody as let's say with a more immature sense of humor as Mr. Musk. So yes,
And of course, these images came from Joe Tegmeyer in his site is what Tesla-Roddy is pulling from. So very cool to see this actually formulating. I'm wondering if they're actually going to keep it all silver, or if they're going to paint like the windshield black, maybe the sides black and then the rest silver, just like the Cybertruck, or if it's going to be just all silver.
like a Monopoly piece.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Either one would be good, but they got to get that blade on there.
And then you can see they've got some signage up that indicates that there is no scooters allowed in the tunnel, that you can't go this direction. That's the wrong direction, that you will experience extreme tire, tire destruction if you head down that way. So they must have those fold up tire puncture safety measures.
Right. The kind you see in those parking lots that you have to pay before you exit. Yeah.
Why would they do that?
I don't know. I'm not sure why they would do
property.
But that's what the sign says. So
Jimbo, you went the wrong way. We're gonna take your whole paycheck in tires.
yeah, exactly.
Do it again.
And in the photo here, you can see that there's a little grate in the center, but obviously that wouldn't affect anything because tires would be on both sides of that. So they don't really show from the photos that you could see anything that would damage the tires, but that's
maybe
what
they reserve the right.
So that's kind of interesting.
Speaking of Cybertruck, Brian's got us a little breaking news hint. The Cybertruck now qualifies for the $7,500 federal tax credit while it lasts.
Oh,
right. Not the foundation version, but the non-foundation, correct?
Yes.
Right.
And the rear-wheel drive too, whenever it comes out, if it comes out before they cancel everything.
Yes. Yeah. So the $7,500 tax credit may not last through the year. So if you're looking to use it on a Cybertruck, go quick.
If you ask the IRS, it does, because it was put in place before the new Congress sits on the 3rd and before the new administration.
So any changes should take effect in 2026?
We say that, but remember, this crew is really good at finding money and pulling it back when it's permanent. So do not count on it.
Right.
Until we hear from them, like, oh man, next year it's gone.
So I hope the FSD can read those signs that says wrong way, don't go this way.
Right. Right. Make a difference.
Absolutely. And here's a before photo as they were just starting to put the skeleton in place, where they laid the outside of the Cybertruck look. And I imagine they'll continue with it and, do the finish it off on the sides and make it look completely closed in.
Hockey Day's got a good point. Since this empties out into the building, maybe that's why they've got the tire puncture, et cetera, et cetera. That is a security device.
Oh. As we just saw, sadly, in New Orleans, people can be vicious.
Yeah. Not just New Orleans.
Just trying to zoom in, and I really can't.
We have no details on that one yet, except that the driver didn't make it.
Yeah, so that's an interesting development, and of course, Joe Tegmeyer keeps track of this. If you want to see updates on a 3 times a week basis, certainly subscribe to Joe's channel. He's got the drones in the air at all times, and is pulling in a lot of information. He was one of the first to spot this new development in the export lot, or
I thought it was going to be
outside of the export lot.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be a solar awning when they first started, because it was before they hit the back where it made the Cybertruck shape. I was like, that's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, so we got the federal tax credit. Also with the Mark's code, my code, Pat's code, we have money off on some Cybertrucks as well.
Awesome.
It's not the same as last year. So if you were interested and you were waiting on like a new tax year or something, take a look. All the programs have changed.
It was a press to get more sales for the end of the year, right? And now that we're the first day of the new year, everything has changed again.
It has, but it's still pretty generous, up to $2,000 depending on what you get. They seem to be focused on Model Y, obviously, but just take a look. I saw several models in there. They caught my eye, and it's different per country. So our Canadian friends will see something different. Our European friends will see something completely different, and our folks in Asia, they managed to keep something special going in Japan. I think 0% for a little bit longer, or at least just a lower interest rate than. There was just so much I was looking at. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and in Turkey, they're looking at a cash for clunkers type deal that they're thinking of implementing. So that's a brand new item for Turkey. Hasn't been implemented yet. They're looking at it. So
cool.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Well,
hopefully it was a terrorist and not a victim, Ricardo. That would suck.
Exactly.
Canada in the chat. Canada on the screen, baby.
Yeah, on the screen. Yeah. Just in the
right up there.
The Great White North is here. Another piece of information regarding with Cybertruck, and this was kind of a surprise, that the key card for the Cybertruck has been modified now to a metal version. It's all metal, as opposed to all other Teslas that have plastic. That black plastic key card that we're all familiar with.
Now, is that standard or just an accessory from the shop?
That's a good question. I thought it was standard, but maybe
because last year they were talking about standard, and it looked the mock-up looked like the one at the name tags, the little cyber name tags from the event. But with that, because Tesla's key system is the way it is, you can use it on all the cars. So if you
that's just what I was going to say, is that it has to be compatible. Go ahead, please.
Yeah. So if you just like it, you can get it, or even better, if if it does come with your Cybertruck, you can pair it with all your other Teslas, which is nice.
I would think with the branding of the Cybertruck that they've got that unique branding going on, that they would probably do it as a standard thing.
I hope so.
At
least one of them. Yeah. 2 keys. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But this something just came out. So obviously the people with the Foundation series, they got the plastic key. One. And of course, another bit of Cybertruck news right up to the deadline of last night. They were offering the ability to have free unlimited supercharging with the Cybertruck Foundation series of inventory models. And it was a supercharging that you could never take off of the vehicle and move it to another vehicle. But they would let you have free unlimited supercharger for the length of time that you owned the Cybertruck yourself.
Right. It was like what I've got with the Legacy, where all the charging you want, they can take it away if you abuse it, or if you stop paying your supercharger fees, like if you stay or
idle fees,
you get fees, and it does not transfer to the new owner. So say you're going to keep it in the family like we are, better keep it registered in your name, and then just let the kids drive it. Don't change it over to the kids' names. They'll still do it on a lease. I don't know if they count you buying your lease out as being the same owner, or if they're like, oh, no, that was Tesla's car, and now it's your car.
Oh.
So we're taking it back.
Interesting little question there, which, it still feels like mine.
Right.
I kind of want to keep the free supercharging.
Exactly.
Oh, no, you can take it back.
Right. Just because some banking paperwork changed in the background, and I'm still driving the same car I did yesterday, I still want my free supercharging.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's a question to ask your advisor. Get it in writing, and that way, if something happens, you can you got that in writing.
Yeah, but that of course deal for the Cybertruck had ended as of last night. So it's a demand lever, right? Like these are all demand levers. We talked about it a couple of weeks ago about the influx of Foundation Series Cybertrucks that seem to have been sitting in different lots across the country. And this was a way to pull the trigger and push a number of them out before the end of the year. So not surprising that Tesla was generous with this as they tried to, push those numbers at the end of the year. Speaking of the end of the year, that just happened yesterday. There has been no numbers announced yet on fourth quarter, but you're right. It is coming soon. So tomorrow we expect to see something about the numbers that Tesla actually achieved in fourth quarter 2024.
Right. So next week we'll be able to figure out which one of us won.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. We'll pull out the spreadsheet and see who was the closest to guessing the production number. The production numbers of vehicles that Tesla put out onto the lots.
Yeah. So those of you who haven't already submitted your guess live, come up to it. And those of you watching on the replay, you have until January 1st. And January 1st.
And start thinking about next year because we'll record
that's
this
the
again.
more important one. Yes.
Yep.
So who can take second place to Brian?
Well, Brian is an analyst, so like he's
professional
compared to us.
Do you have a guess from January of last year? What Brian said for 2024?
I did not. No, I did not have one from Brian last year.
All right,
but
so Brian,
we'll definitely collect one this year.
Yeah,
from Brian.
Definitely.
Yeah. So it will be interesting to see what those numbers actually turn out to be because of the push that they were unleashing on everybody here at the final as the clock struck midnight. So
yes. So
we'll find out tomorrow, and it looks like it's going to be a new record, but just barely is my guess. But we'll find out tomorrow.
People were like, "Oh, we're going to miss by 1%." I'm like, "Well, 1% is pretty darn good given the year we had."
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, there seems to be in the last 3 years, there's always something that's going on that affects it. You can't have a smooth year, it seems, in the past 3 where things aren't being affected by high interest rates, by war, by the economy. All this stuff is constantly in flux, and you're not getting optimum sales based on those problems that exist in the marketplace.
Yep.
Next, let's talk a little bit about Shanghai has officially started trial production of the Megapacks in the new factory that they put together. And this is not a surprise. We've been watching the build of this formerly empty lot about a year and a bit ago, and now it's a fully functioning factory, and they're actually into trial production. So not full production yet, but they're starting the lines and seeing what type of optimization may be required to get these Megapacks flowing out.
You guys won't believe the consistency of this now. So the same way that Elon likes to just beat the 2 weeks drum, 7 months. Like everything in China is built in 7 months and running, at least for Tesla.
So they have a Megapack factory now in Lathrop, California. Is that right?
That one.
So is this number 2 or is there another one?
2, actually.
Okay.
They've got one.
Where's the third one?
Oh, where, Casey?
Which one is the trial one? Is that the one in Lathrop's?
I think so. They were saying that their test facility, but they're and they're trying out. It's their demo factory, but their idea of a demo is equivalent to most other places' full production.
Exactly, and then they've got the full size one in the U.S. I think that's the Giga Nevada, and then they've got this one.
Okay, they make Megapacks in Spark, Nevada as well. Okay,
yeah. Unless I've just gone on a trip and come back, but I don't do any substances.
Now, this will give Tesla the ability, I would think, to actually, besides increase production of the actual units, It will also give them the ability to have them in a different geographic center on Earth that they'll be able to weigh against. For example, Australia may be able to collect megapacks from Shanghai because it's much closer.
Yeah.
I don't know this for a fact, but obviously Tesla looks at how they can bring resources local to build things quicker and to deliver them quicker. And the Megapacks may be just following what they've done with their car factories.
Yeah, and if you look at X, my G Custom here at G Custom, me and Carson and I, we were speculating on what this all means, and he did a brilliant write-up early this morning, where we speculated that the reason that we didn't see any mass rollout of Semi is it needed Megapack, and the reason we didn't see any mass rollout of Megapack, other than them building up all the orders, was they needed factories. And so now that these things are coming together, we also see the introduction of the Megacharger V2 or Mark 1, the first version, whatever we're going to call it. These things all play together with just having the truck. You don't need any of the renewables, but you don't need any of the renewables to see massive savings. And then the Megacharger doesn't exactly work without a buffer. Otherwise, you're going to be like taking down like a city's worth of power every time you plug in a truck. And so that needs to be back to the Megapack. You need all the batteries you can get to put into the truck. And then, of course, you also want the batteries just around on the grid in general. And then when you don't have a truck plugged in, you can then also do like we saw in Australia and do auto bidder. And so you've got two assets making you money, the one out on the road and the one just sitting at the factory waiting for that one to get back.
Right.
So
I didn't think about how all those connect and interconnect and the dependencies between them. Because at first when you said the Semi needs Megapacks, I'm like, what are you talking about? And then you stitched it together. That's great. Yeah. Brian clarified some stuff. There are only 2 Megapack factories for now, and that Cato Road is what I was thinking of.
Think of Cato. Okay, so Lathrop is the full size one. Cato is the trial, and so there's 2.5. So Lathrop, Cato, and now Shanghai is about to open. So I wonder if this trial is a Cato size trial, or if this is just like
this is a Lathrop sized factory. So
the factory, yes, but the trial is the trial Cato size, or is it just a grease in the wheels and making sure that everybody knows what they're doing, and then they're gonna shoot them out the in a month?
Looked at what Lathrop does well and doesn't do well, and they build it to that spec. So I would that they're looking for trial production to make sure things roll along the line properly, that they can get sourced properly, that suppliers are ready in the right areas, that they're being built with, of course, new employees that are going to have to learn the ropes as well. So there's a number of things that you're going to try to hit correctly during trial to make sure that you're going to be able to start to do regular production without too many stoppages or issues with the final product.
Definitely. And what I'm putting in the chat here is the link to it's like 15 tweets total between the three of us. So take a quick look at that if you'd like.
Cool.
All right. Let's go to the next story. I wanted to talk a little bit about don't want to forget about Mexico, which a lot of us have, really. Like, let's face it. Once Mexico was chosen as the next factory that was going to be built, things really languished.
They did.
They did some work with an exit. Actually, Brian was in that area and talked about the rail line, and he talked about the exit entrance onto the highway, about some sewer preparation. But really, not a lot of work has been done to the site itself. And Elon had mentioned during one of the calls last year that they were putting things on pause. They were waiting until economic conditions have changed for the better. And to that point, they were not going to spend much on Mexico. But this little article came out that we quoted down in the notes. You can check this out at any time. And this article talks about the money they spent on the actual acquisition of the land and the 3 parcels that they purchased for a combined amount of just over $100 million. Tesla had spent to secure the land from different entities. And of course, they bought them not through Tesla itself, but through proxies. Because of course, when you're buying a large parcel of land, the last thing you want to let the person know that you're buying it from is that you're flush with cash and no price is too much for you if you want a particular piece of land. So just with like anyone else, like Walt Disney did in Florida, they went around with proxies and bought up plots of land, put together multiple different proxies so that they weren't tipping their hand as to who was buying the land. And it looks like Tesla did the same thing here in Mexico.
It must be nice to be able to spend $100 million and then just go, we'll wait a couple years.
Right.
Well, yeah, it's probably a lot easier when you look at the spreadsheet that says how much is a factory going to cost to build,
right?
Compared to
$100 million is a round off error.
Yeah, exactly. It's a rounding error for sure when it comes to the price of an actual factory. But this bit of information came out in a request for information. Someone had put to the Mexican government, and of course the records are kept on land transactions and the cost of land purchases and so forth. So that information is available for people to check up on, and that's where this little nugget of information came from. And again, 3 different parcels put together, 2 rather large parcels and 1 very small parcel that make up the total purchase.
So my understanding is the plan is for that to open in 2026, but anything could change over the next year.
Yeah, I couldn't say with any conviction that that date will happen. Certainly they're going to move forward at one point, but it's going to, as they mentioned before, it's going to be based on economic conditions as things change in a more positive manner.
And trade agreements with Mexico. What's going to happen there with the new administration?
Yep.
Yes, indeed.
Breaks.
So that will be something to keep an eye on as 2025 begins, and see if we get any little bits of information as time goes along. Speaking of 2025, I don't know if you guys caught this, but ex-CEO Linda
Yaccarino,
had teased some information on a little video presentation that she made at the very end of the year. As of, it was yesterday, it happened. And what was interesting is that she talked about the X service, used to be called Twitter, that it will start to make inroads into what they're calling X Money and XTV in 2025. And Linda made another comment on stage about how that now X users out there in the world are really the media. It's no longer the media is the media. You are now the media based on your abilities to access people across different genres and different amounts of people. And that's kind of what YouTube has become, right? Like YouTube has become a news source for many, where the traditional media is either too fractured into different political camps, or doesn't cover things that people feel that are important, or is it some from column A and some from column B? It's but again, they're trying to make X move into the social media area where it can be utilized for a messenger to allow people to put out their ideas and get response to it and continue to do that. So become a news feed of sorts. And as Elon has talked about several times in the past, how X is supposed to be aimed in the future for financial transactions. So that if you're communicating to somebody, if you want to purchase something, it's going to be as easy as using a credit card right through X and being able to push that transaction through financially, connecting the two buyers and sellers. And of course, Elon's past history with PayPal certainly has something to do with this. He's got the chops. He's got the chops to do it. He's done it in the past, and this is not a surprise. But it is interesting that Linda, the CEO, has indicated that 2025 is when the inroads for these two services begin.
Right, and as Casey hinted at, the whole reason that he has X.com is because of the PayPal days, when that's what their original, was it Confinity or
Confinity and X merged to make PayPal.
Right, and so Musk has held on to X.com ever since then.
Yeah. So this is going to be kind of cool. It's like going to be like the global WeChat or the American WeChat, because here we are chatting away, and then we've also got money, and then whatever else they put in here. One thing I think would be kind of interesting right now is it doesn't have to, like it says, everybody's like, we are the media, yes, but this has an opportunity for them that are flexible and forward looking and able to adjust to the new order. You can have all the citizen journalists, like, here's all the stuff that's going on, and then you can have some of them that are trained as journalists to, hey, here's the vetting, here's the deep reporting, here's the long form stories, as well as we can see some new personalities that do have the proper training and have a reputation for truth and fact finding to build themselves up without having to have a network behind them. And this is an opportunity for a change in the way that the fourth estate works.
It's interesting. Hockey Day in the comments talked about how YouTube censors too much. It plays with the algorithm all the time, and those are definitely true facts. But what I also wanted to point out is that YouTube in the beginning didn't do those type of things in the beginning. But as YouTube gained popularity and more mass appeal and more users and more content creators, these rules started to roll in one after another. Also, the U.S. administration would look at what YouTube was doing, and they asked for protection. For example, for children, when YouTube programming was in the beginning,
a couple years ago, yeah,
children was not a concern. It was almost the Wild West when it came to content creation. But rules had to be put in place to protect some of the users on the platform. And I have a feeling that X may come as the one that's not going to do censoring or other things that it's preventing its content creators from doing certain things. But that's easy to say when you're small. But as you grow larger, that type of regulation and pressure comes down on these companies from different sources, and they may be required to make those changes as well if they want to access the U.S. market as time goes along. Now, that's not saying that in many places of the world it may be uncensored or censored in a different way. And I know that Musk he pushes against censorship. I know that when Brazil tried to censor X, he prevented it to a point where the company was being fined on a daily basis because they didn't implement rules that Brazil wanted implemented. But the
other places he doesn't push back, though,
and there are some places where he doesn't. So
yeah,
so it is a question of can the uncensored version continue to go, or with its gain in popularity, will they be required to toe the line?
I think it'll be a little more open than you expect, because like when you look at what YouTube has, it's not really all that bad when you compare them to, say, TikTok. TikTok is where all these stupid speeches come from, like unalived and pew pews and all that garbage, because you couldn't say it on YouTube or on TikTok. And so then when you make content on both YouTube and TikTok, it's easier just to go for the least common denominator, and that's why a lot of your YouTubers talk like freaking children.
Mm-hmm. I see. So yeah, so X here could exchange of ideas, exchange of currency, exchange of content. So I mean, it really could live up to its name, the exchange aspects there. And of course, it's got to have some cryptocurrency.
Oh, of course. There'll probably be crypto in there too, because that was something that Kimball was talking about years ago. But Brian asked who's going to pay for it. So what I think we'll see here is not just the the payments for being a participating member, but I think that we might see something like I've been talking about for years. I'm not going to subscribe to the Timbuktu Times to read 2 articles or 1 article, but I will glad to sign up for a news subscription where it's kind of like the apportion tags on semi-trucks, where they go through and they track where I've been for the news, and then they just pay all the people I looked at some portion of my news subscription to make sure that that they can afford to do the news. Some people read 2 articles and pay $20 for it. Other people read 200 and pay $20 for it, or whatever the fee is. Probably should start with whatever.
Right, but I don't want to subscribe to everybody that ever has an interesting article. I mean, that's ridiculous. But I will buy the article if it's
like X News.
If it's a micro purchase of.
Well, not even that. Just like here's my $10, $20, whatever it is for X News, and then just whoever I've visited for news splits that up for that month. That's what.
Yeah, right. And there might be some cap on it, like, oh, you spent this much for your month. Do you want to allocate more? That'd be fine. A subscription like that, where the people who are actually generating the content are getting paid. That sounds perfect.
Yeah, so that's the news for this week, holiday week. We'll put it. It's certainly with this X news. It'll be interesting to see how it goes into play as 2025 starts to roll out, and if there's obviously X has added a number of changes over the past year. We got video conferencing, for example, showed up. Which wasn't there previously. So
phone calls.
Phone calls. So it's starting to make its inroad into multimedia, being able to access more and more people, draw more and more in based on its abilities, and definitely X money is going to be a big part of that. If it becomes ubiquitous as to how you're paying for something, if it's easier to do it through X, then people will be at a path to its doorstep. If it's more difficult, then it's going to be a harder sell. But we'll have to see as to how it's adopted and how will be pushed out there.
Definitely.
With that, I think we will wrap it up. If you haven't already, please give us a thumbs up on the video. Press that subscribe button. Casey, what do you got for shout-outs this week?
Well, it's Wednesday, so catch us on Friday for the Tesla Life Express Edition 1. And then on Sunday, you can catch us over at youtube.com/KCGreen for Let's Chat with Casey and Friends. Also, check us out on X at HG Custom, at the Tesla Live Show, at FFF Fossil Fuels. And then come back on Monday for the Tesla Life Express Edition 2, followed up by 1 week from now and at the top of the hour for the Tesla Life Live.
Very good, very good. Patrick, what do you got?
Hey, well, it's 2025, so every year following Tesla is exciting. So what do you think we're going to see this year that isn't, I don't know, obvious? I'm hoping that we get to see the Roadster this year, a new reveal. It'd be nice we've heard all the hype about it being able to fly, so I want to see it hover off the ground at least a few inches. That would be cool. Cool. Yeah, I don't know what else. There's Optimus has got to come out with some new tricks this year because they're making such fast progress there. That would be cool. Yeah, so lots of exciting stuff can happen in 2025, and I also want you to think about Tesla's production. So not sales, production. That's what we're trying to guess in our annual game. So next week we'll be collecting numbers. So have yours ready to go, and especially you, Brian. I want you to get on the record now, because anybody can predict when you have all the data. we want to guess an early guess.
Well, there's that guy that always badmouths Brian, who predicts like 2 days before it happens.
Right. Yes. Yeah.
It's like Brian's had the same number or better,
right?
Like 3 months ahead of time, and this guy's like 2 days ahead of time. Like, oh yeah.
Exactly.
That's a rivalry.
Okay.
Insider baseball.
Yeah, and so for my usual, I'm with the Oregon Electric Vehicle Association. You can find us at oeva.org, and I blog occasionally at carswithcords.net. I'm certainly working on my 2025, what to expect from Tesla. So that'll be coming soon. And you can find me on X at A Future Free from Fossil Fuels. Thank you.
That's right.
Very good, very good. And I want to thank those in the chat room. Brian, Ricardo, Lee Moon was there. Who else? Hockey Day, of course, was with us from Sarnia. Shout out to Sarnia. We've got, who else? We've mentioned Ricardo. Dana joined us. And Anders was with us as well. And I think Purple Side, that's new. Todd Halter joined us, new as well. Hello. And that's it. So thanks so much for being with us today. Appreciate it. Again, press that thumbs up, and we will catch you next time on the Tesla Life. Fireworks!
Stay positive. Test negative.